Ciao everyone, it's Maghettino and today we're chatting in my office to talk about Mr. Horacio Pagani's personal car collection. I'm a great fan of Mr. Pagani and by the way, that's me in 2010. Oh my goodness, time really flies. Over the decades, Mr. Horacio Pagani has managed to build an empire in the car industry, more precisely in the Moto Valley. As you know, there's quite a lot of competition in that area. With the Zonda and Huayra, he created two masterpieces. But today, we're not gonna talk about those cars, we're gonna talk the cars that Mr. Horacio Pagani daily drives. And you can bet his car collection includes quite a few interesting cars we're about to discover. You might be wondering, does he have at least one car with his name in his car collection? Well, of course he does. If we don't consider the company cars like the prototypes, testimonials, Mr. Horacio Pagani owns this Zonda. The car you see used to be a Zonda C12, but over the time it's been upgraded to C12S. Chassis number 6, this is one of the first Zondas built. It's been introduced in the Geneva Motor Show in 2000, so this car is 2 decades old. The particular thing about this car is that this is the first Zonda built with this kind of configuration in bare carbon fiber. Since the beginning, this car has always been under the ownership of Mr. Pagani, and you can bet this is not a garage queen. I don't know the mileage, but I can guarantee you that this is one of the highest mileage Zondas you can see. Mr. Horacio Pagani is a big fan of the V12. I mean, who doesn't love a big V12, especially if natural aspirated? And well, he has a hell of a V12 because what you see, it's his personal Ferrari F12 TDF. I am absolutely in love with the configuration, and apparently Mr. Pagani has been influenced by the Lotus race cars from the 70s. The shade of red, the golden wheels, the white livery, this TDF is simply perfect. Can you imagine Mr. Piero Ferrari driving on public with a Lamborghini or Stefano Domenicali driving a Porsche? They might be fan of the competition, but they cannot really show up in public with the competition. And apparently Mr. Pagani doesn't care. He loves to share his passion for cars and he doesn't make himself a problem driving a car that doesn't have his badge or name. Let's stay in the Moto Valley because another proper car of his car collection is this Lamborghini Countach 25th anniversary. The configuration, I'm in love with it. White with red interior. You couldn't choose a better configuration than this for the Countach. And as you know, Mr. Pagani has a big relation with Lamborghini because when he came to Italy, one of his first working experiences was at Lamborghini. And here you can see a very young Horacio Pagani working on a prototype of a car that sadly has never seen the light. What you see is what could have been the Lamborghini Countach Evoluzione. And now guys, let's move to Germany because Mr. Pagani is a massive Porsche enthusiast. In his collection there's quite a few Porsches that are a must-have for every collector. Let's start from the legendary Porsche Carrera GT. I'm in love with this car. Quite a few years back I got to experience a road trip in Mr. Pagani's personal Carrera GT. We traveled for about 3 hours. It was so hot, we were traveling with the roof off. My ears were quite pleased. At the end of the trip I was burning, but I have to say it was absolutely worth it. I'm not a Porsche guy, but the Carrera GT is one of my favorite cars. Let's continue with the Porsche lineup because this is Mr. Pagani's Porsche 918. I got to see this car quite a few times around Porsche gatherings. As I told you, Mr. Pagani doesn't make himself problems to show up on public with a competition. He has also shown up in public with his Porsche Cayman GT4. He has also bought this 911R, so yeah, he's a great fan of the manual gearbox. Big respect for Horacio for this. And now let's move in the USA because Mr. Pagani's car collection has quite a few important American cars. When you think about important American cars, I think the Ford GT is one of the first cars that comes up in your mind. In fact, Mr. Pagani has 2 of them. What you see is the old Ford GT with a big V8 engine. I love the color. Gulf livery, I think it's one of the best configuration you can opt for the GT. And And he has also the brother, the newer 4GT. Ford Italy hasn't sold many GT, so it's quite rare, but if you happen to visit the Pagani factory, you have a big opportunity to see it because he doesn't make himself problems to show his cars in his factory. As you see in the previous picture, for example, the Countach, you can see it on display in the Pagani Museum, which is seriously cool. I think that now Mr. Pagani need to buy also an older GT40 to complete the Holy Trinity. What do you think, guys? Anyway, there is another proper American car to keep good company with the two GTs. There's no pictures around, but I can confirm you that Mr. Pagani owns a Shelby Mustang GT500, known as Eleanor. I know that because I know the previous owner of the car. The car has been bought by the sons of Mr. Pagani and they gave him to him as a birthday present. How cool is that? So, as you can see, in Pagani's car collection, there's a great variety between muscle cars, sports cars, supercars, even hypercars. I love that. And another car that he really loves is the Jaguar E-Type. I mean, look at that shape. Even Enzo Ferrari back in time said that the E-Type is the prettiest car ever made. That's not all, because I think in the future Mr. Pagani will surprise us with even more incredible cars, because during an interview he said that he placed an order for an AMG Project 1. I don't think that Mercedes has sold that many in Italy, so for us Italian petrol heads this will be a great opportunity to see one in the flesh. And last but not least, in the Pagani's car collection there was an Honda S2000. The car was owned by one of the two sons and I still remember it. It was grey, it was always parked in the driveway of the factory, and after some time I found out that actually the car was part of Pagani's family. And this is the confirm that the Pagani family has a great taste in terms of cars. We will keep talking and featuring the greatest car collections all around the world. So guys, if you have any tips, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Hey, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!